All right, so today we're talking about books. I probably wasn't going to do this one, but I realized it's kind of a big part of my day and part of my habits. And I didn't pick up the habit of reading until about 2 years ago. And the first book I actually sat down, read, annotated, actually was a book that made me quit my job. And that book was Rich Dad Poor Dad. I know it kind of sounds cliche, but at the time I didn't understand the real estate or investment side that he was talking about. But I understood that as a young person, you had to take a risk. And I took a risk. Ultimately, 2 years later, it paid off. But that was the first time I actually picked up the habit of reading. And now I have plenty of books. I don't know if you can see in the background, but I have plenty of books. I have more over here. Um, and now I kind of make it a habit to read every single day, at least 15 pages. And I didn't start off like that, but now I definitely read a lot more. Um, I wanted to come on here and talk about books because I feel like people think books are outdated. Because we have podcasts now, we have social media, we have Google. Why do we need to pick up books? It's so outdated. But I genuinely believe that sometimes the answers you're looking for, they're not on your phone. They're in a book somebody wrote 50 years ago. And all you have to do is pick it up, read it, and you'll understand. And honestly, these books have changed my life. Like, it sounds cliche and cringy, but I'm being serious. Like, especially this book right here, How to Win Friends and Influence People. This is an old book, but it's timeless. It's helped me a lot in relationships with people and in sales. It's helped me, communicate a lot differently. Instead of trying to be interesting to people, be interested in them. Ask them questions. Be curious about where they came from, about what's going on in their life, and they're gonna tell you. Because when you're genuinely curious about people, they're more than happy to share with you. Because one of the things in this book, it says the human desire to feel important is one of the strongest desires we have, and honestly, that's true. I believe that's true, and honestly, I don't use it in a negative way. I'm genuinely curious about a lot of people. I always like to know where people come from, what they got going on, and this has helped me in sales and in real estate. So definitely one of the best books I have, and continue to reread this one. And usually I don't read two books at a time, but this time I am, just because this book right here, The Wisdom of the Bullfrog, by General McRaven. I read his other book before, Make Your Bed, and this one's about leadership. And like I said, I usually don't read two books at a time because I like to digest them at once. But this book is about leadership, and I feel like I have to have better leadership skills, especially being in real estate, dealing with older people, buying one of the biggest purchases of their life. You have to be a good leader. And just yesterday, actually, I had a couple, they're a lot older than me, and they looked me straight in the face and said, Paul, what do we do next? I was just looking back at it. Before, I was like, I'm helping people with one of the biggest decisions of their life. I have to be a better leader. I have to be a good leader, I should say. And that's one of the reasons I also got into Flip as a social chair, because I knew I was going to have to be talking to older people, business owners, and connecting people and being a leader, right? That's why I did it. That's why I joined it, because I wanted to become a better leader. But after that, it really uh, made me want to be a better leader, because being a leader just not only in business or in sales, it's in family, it's in friends, right? Because a lot of the stuff that the book talks about is making the tough decisions that only a leader can make, um, and being disciplined and doing the right thing even when no one else thinks it's right, but it is, and if they're gonna hate you for it, but they hate you short term for it, but it's the best thing long term. Not everybody can make that decision because it's hard to be a good leader.